If you're someone who gets bored with long grammar rules, you'll love this. In this video, we use storytelling to help you absorb real English. You'll pick up natural sentence patterns, everyday vocabulary, and common expressions, without even trying. Just relax and enjoy the ride. And if you enjoy learning like this, subscribe, like, and hit the bell icon. We post exciting stories every single day. The sky had looked fine when Ethan left the apartment. It was his last evening in New York, and he had one final thing on his list: walking across the Brooklyn Bridge. Everyone had told him it was magical at sunset. You could see the whole city lighting up while walking above the East River. So he grabbed his hoodie, left his phone charging in the room, and headed out with just a small water bottle and a folded paper map in his back pocket. The air felt warm, and the wind was light. Everything seemed perfect. By the time he reached the foot of the bridge, the sun was just starting to drop. The clouds in the distance were pink and gold, and the skyscrapers were glowing. The wooden planks beneath his feet creaked softly as he walked. Cyclists zoomed past in their lane. Tourists posed for photos, laughed, and leaned against the railings. Ethan walked slowly, taking it all in. The cables above him curved like spiderwebs, giant and beautiful. He stopped now and then to enjoy the view, to let the moment sink in. But as he reached the middle of the bridge, something shifted. The wind changed. It blew stronger and cooler, suddenly cutting through his hoodie like a knife. The clouds were no longer gold. They were grey, then darker grey, then almost black. He didn't notice the first drop, or the second, but the third one landed right on his nose. He blinked and looked up. The clouds were rolling in fast, like a movie scene in fast forward. He turned around to check the Manhattan side. Too far to go back quickly. He looked ahead toward Brooklyn. Just as far. And then the rain came. Not gentle. Not friendly. It hit like a curtain being dropped from the sky. Heavy cold sideways. Ethan froze for a second, not sure what to do. He pulled the hoodie over his head, but it did nothing. Within seconds, his sleeves were soaked. His shoes were filling with water. His paper map disintegrated in his pocket like wet tissue. People around him started running. Some ran back toward Manhattan. Some ran forward toward Brooklyn. A few just screamed and laughed and stood still. Ethan tried to walk fast, but the rain was too strong. His eyes kept blinking to stay clear. His hands were shaking. The wind pushed him sideways, nearly off the walking path. Bikers had vanished. Even the tourists were gone. The bridge, moments ago full of people and color and sound, had turned into a wet ghost town. He spotted a small arch built into one of the bridge towers, a dry space under stone. He sprinted toward it and ducked inside, panting and soaked. Another person was already there, silent and wet, hugging a backpack. They nodded at each other, but said nothing. The rain didn't slow. It got heavier. It pounded the wooden planks like drums. Water poured from the sides of the bridge in sheets. Lightning lit the sky, and a second later, thunder shook the stones. Ethan sat down on the cold floor of the arch, wrapped his arms around his knees, and waited. There was no point running now. He thought about his phone, safe and dry on the nightstand. He thought about dry socks. He thought about pizza. After maybe 20 minutes, the rain started to weaken. The lightning moved farther away. The air smelled like wet pavement and river mist. The other person under the arch stood up, nodded again, and walked away quietly, their shoes slapping against the soaked planks. Ethan waited a few minutes more, then stood and walked carefully toward Brooklyn. The bridge was slippery, and the wind hadn't fully stopped. When he finally reached the other side, his hoodie was heavy with water. His jeans stuck to his legs. His shoes made squelching sounds with every step. He didn't know where the nearest subway station was, but he didn't care. He had made it. He had crossed the Brooklyn Bridge in a storm. Not the way he'd planned it, but maybe even better. That night, after a hot shower and the best slice of pepperoni pizza he'd ever tasted, Ethan wrote a short note in his travel journal. Don't trust New York skies. And under that, in smaller letters, bring an umbrella. Always. Seriously, your brain just absorbed tenses, vocabulary, expressions, and sentence flow naturally. You didn't have to study or memorize anything. That's the power of storytelling. If you like this experience, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the bell icon. We post daily English learning stories like this one. Now, leave a comment. Have you ever been caught in a surprise storm? What happened? Tell us your story.